much in the middle, the hot seat.
All right.
What I didn't do in my intro remarks, so I want to give you guys a little secret for you entrepreneurs in the room that want to get to Young. Obviously, if you don't get to him at the conference today, is he's an avid kiteboarder. And what I recommend strongly is you take kiteboarding lessons, and you find him when he's not busy running the key parts of Samsung that fall under his care out in the Bay Area near the Golden Gate Bridge. So there's your clue. But I enjoy kiteboarding as well, and it's a great sport. So, Young, I know today's discussion is about wearable devices, but before we do that, you've now had this mandate for a little over 6-7 months, and you're building an amazing team underneath you. So maybe you could just give us a quick summary of where you see innovation currently at Samsung and the focus areas.
So, in many ways, I think our approach in the past had been really using our platform in Korea to develop products and then globalize it. And that worked very well. I became the largest IT company as a consequence of a great productization, investment in core components. And I think some of the changes we're trying to make is that the speed of change is very rapid, as you know, and there's a lot of new changes that are going on. And we're trying to be much closer to the source of the innovation, which could be in Silicon Valley, it could be in Boston, it could be in Austin, it could be Israel, it could be somewhere in Europe. So we want to reach out to global locations where the action is, and then try to bring those entrepreneurs and innovative ideas closer to Samsung. So the idea is really creating a bridge so that we can be able to navigate better than it had been in the past. I'm sure some of you who have worked with Samsung, not an easy place to navigate because of the size of the company, the organizations, and the silos that we build in each business. And we're trying to figure out how to bridge those issues so that it's easier for you to work with some of our divisions, business units, and technology teams. In addition to that, we're also doing innovation centers in the Silicon Valley to accelerate some of the key strategic areas that we think is interesting and exciting, to bring the right people in, to create ecosystem, to bring out interesting technologies.
That's great. So you might notice my high-tech notepad here. I'm using paper because I didn't want to show up on stage with the chief strategy of Samsung with an iPad, so bear with me here. But so we are here to talk about wearable devices. And so this is an area I know that is great focus. So why don't you walk us through just an introductory level of where your thought process is around the future of wearable devices at Samsung?
So I think I'll give you in more generic terms, and I think it does apply to Samsung and others. Clearly, I think, first of all, let me just ask, how many of you wear something that are wearable definition? Raise your hand, please. Okay, maybe 10%. And I think that, in my view, if we do the same survey in 3 or 4 years, that number will be much greater. And that would be my prediction. Why is that? Well, today, I think most of the people that are using wearable is doing things that are, measuring your activities and maybe some heartbeats. And maybe some new opportunities around mirroring your phones that can be able to navigate some of the applications. Now, I think that eventually, in my view, you're going to wear it, you don't even know you're wearing the wearable devices. It could be in your fabric of clothing, it could be part of your glasses, it could be part of your watch, but the functionality is going to come, is going to be much more greater than typically what we used to. It's going to help you to monitor your health, that are connected to cloud. It has an ID that probably authenticates you so that you know it is for you. And the payment system of today that are using credit card and all those things are truly migrate over to either NFC or something like that. They can continue to evolve through the ecosystem that can enable much frictionless payment systems going forward. So these changes are going to help us to make the wearable much more pervasive going forward. And I think it's very exciting for people like us in the business of creating great consumer products so that you can be able to enjoy next experience they can live, they can make our lives better. And with that note, actually, I have one video that I brought. They can give you the kind of feature of how we see the world of a potentially wearable device that can make our lives better going forward. So could I get the video going, please?
The new concept color display using the photonic crystal can change the RGB color by the different reflection path through the actuator thickness control. It is a reflective display, and color change is possible without self-light emitting and backlight.
How are you feeling? I'm feeling good. I was calling to check and see if you've done your health test already. Remember, you have to send the results to the doctor this morning. That's right. I almost forgot.
Physical condition can be checked without invasive treatment by using radio frequency waves. The electromagnetic wave generator and detector are integrated in the patch sensor.
I might have to go see the doctor tomorrow. He sent me a message.
That's pretty incredible and amazing stuff there, Young. And as I think about those devices that are coming down the line, one of the things I know you care deeply about are these connected ecosystems and the role that the Samsung device plays in a connected ecosystem. Can you talk a little bit about it? I mean, we saw some elements of the connective tissue there with the mom sending her diagnostics to the doctor, but maybe you could talk a little bit more about your view of a connected ecosystem.
Well, I think that's an example of how one can be able to monitor one's health. This is an example of that. I think there will be many other experiences. So first of all, I think we have more devices in living room than anybody that are out there. So one of the things we're working on is making a more integrated experience. And I would say that we are working hard to improve that experience. And we've been investing quite a bit. So when we announced our Galaxy 4, we did announce some of the new initiative around that called Samsung Mobile Hub that can be able to get you the kind of content from books to movies and music and others, to the being able to share files and being able to share your personal experience from device to device. So these are some of the stuff that are happening today, and I think that going forward, what we see is really, we think health area is really key area of innovation that are required. As you know, I think the last year we spent $2.7 trillion in healthcare, and that's 17% of our GNP, and that number will continue to grow. And some are using technology to bring the cost of the healthcare costs, and also making it more preventable by having early diagnostic that's available in an area of technology that can be able to early detect. And to do it, there's a multiple area of innovation that are required. Part of that is being able to have a nanotechnology like you saw, being able to embed in your body, being able to see what's going on in your system, all the way to the mobile hub that can be able to recognize, and then being able to ship it over to the cloud where you can be able to validate and be able to figure out what that means. That ecosystem has to be built, and I think we're at a very early stage of that experience. And I think that connected experience from all the way from a disposable Band-Aid or a sensors all the way to the cloud experience are going to be very critical, and we cannot do it alone, so we need a lot of help in working with startups and entrepreneurs that can build this ecosystem.
But that's very helpful. I know I'm not allowed to ask you about product roadmap today, but it is helpful from the perspective of using the Galaxy platform. We should start thinking now as a hub that connects other devices and now you've announced today, the cloud is going to be an area of focus, and an area that historically we haven't thought of Samsung as having strong acumen in. So at least we can confirm that this is an area of interest for you, for those.
I think it's inevitable, and it's a must for device companies to continue to provide a better consumer experience, and without being able to use big data, right? The data that can be able to help you to analyze and being able to help you to manage your information, and the cloud experience is critical. It doesn't mean we have to do everything. Today we use external party to host some of our cloud informations, and so we are very open to whatever it takes to get to a better consumer experience. They can be able to enrich consumers' choice, and using partners to get there quicker, because I think the value is really rapid transition of adopting the changes that are happening in our place, and how do we accelerate those changes so that we can be able to make a progress in this area.
Along those lines, in the few minutes we have left, I do want to touch on your concept of innovation. We had a great conversation on this notion of what makes an innovative company, and I'd love your thoughts as the leading manufacturer of devices in the world, your view on innovation, and also sort of your view on what makes an innovative Samsung.
Right, so this is a subject I think I've seen much of a debate and discussions in the past. I think Samsung quote fast follower as one, and innovative company as a question mark. And I think that the truth is actually Samsung, in my view, has been an extremely innovative company in many areas. It creates great products. It is very open to choices. We support multiple OS. We support multiple chipsets. So we're very much open to using whatever is available to create the best product that's out there. So that openness for consumer experience is key. I think the other thing is the fact that we are second largest holder of patent in the US in terms of the 2011 as an example, other than IBM. And so 2.17% of all the patents that are issued in 2011 came from Samsung. So those patents would not come out without having a large spending in R&D and innovating. I think we spend over $11 billion in R&D to create some of these innovations. And we will continue to spend dollars, but one of the changes we're making is actually spending money with you. So we announced on February 4th that we are stepping up, investing in seed fund. We also announced the Palo Alto Acceleration Center. They can be able to incubate and support new ideas. They can support our Samsung platform. And we also have Samsung Venture Fund that are helping us to grow companies from multiple stages. So I think we are not only investing within, but also investing with external parties to accelerate potential innovation that may not happen inside.
And then the last piece on that is the Innovation Center that you are shortly about to have a ceremony on, ribbon cutting ceremony in San Jose.
Right, so we have a couple of announcements that we made. Tomorrow actually, we are going to be doing ribbon cutting ceremony for our San Jose R&D Center, which is a 2-story, 10-story buildings at the and it'll probably house several thousand engineers. So this is an example of a company that used US as a marketing center to more of a R&D center, and adding much more resource and investment. And also part of that investment is also working with you and working with entrepreneurs and startups to make sure that we can build a strong ecosystem. Mainly because we recognize that we cannot do it alone, but also it's not easy to navigate large companies like Samsung from outside, so we need to help that process.
So just in wrapping up, what I'm hearing from you is, you're taking the smartphone to extend the platform to wearable devices. You're going to need to build an ecosystem that connects these devices, and you're looking to the folks in the audience and other startups to find a way to partner, which is great news coming out of Samsung, which historically we haven't seen you as visible and as committed to that in the past. So thanks for that commitment, Young. And so in the minutes we have left, I promised, I know some of you have questions of Young, and we have some mic runners, and they're keeping us to a very tight 20 minutes. So I'd welcome questions from the audience of Young. Can we have a mic runner here?
Hi, I just want to ask, with all the multiple R&Ds and innovation centers that you have, how, anything that develops comes from the Korea head office. So how do the innovations filter through from an idea into production, given that you have multiple locations?
That's a great question, and I think that these things requires actually ongoing innovation itself. It's a process innovation. And one of the things we have done is that we actually made our CTO team in Korea, because you need a champion in the local sites where they are building products, and you need to make sure there's a good what I call pipe. So one of the things we have done is we have made our CTO team works for me as an example, so that when we find the great ideas, we can have a team in Korea that can be able to anchor it and being able to work with the business units. And that's a pretty big change if you think about organization structure of large multinational companies. But I think that system of making sure the having a direct pipe, having a very high position management team that are involved, and fostering the innovation is really critical.
Is there another question in the audience? Or the one up front?
Nathan Giles with The Verge. I wanted to ask you about, you showed off this pretty great video here, and it looks really nice and stuff, but how far off is that? Band-aids that we can stick on us to actually tell us what our health is that 20 years down the road? Is that 30 years down the road? Because all the rumors and stuff are about smartwatches, and Sony's come out with the smartwatch last year. We're already seeing that kind of stuff. Whether it's good or not is a different question, but what does this roadmap look like? What are you guys actually trying to do, and how far out? Because that looks like some sci-fi stuff that doesn't look too feasible right now.
Well, I think the innovation doesn't have a fixed timeline, right? Because it's disruptive, it changes. But we're investing heavily, working with the partners to develop technologies that can be able to help navigate some of these areas. So you will see more announcement and information around our progress, but this is not going to be done alone. Some of the medical area is not an area Samsung has built a long history, so we're going to partner with others to building things. And innovation comes by working with, actually in a way, the IT industry that we know of it, and then the medical industry as an example, health industry that are another industry. They have never really talked in the past that closely. The opportunity is really when you put it together and then being able to using the technologies to accelerate innovation, and that's where these things are going to happen. I believe these things, some of these things we looked at, is going to happen before 2020.
And that's helpful. I mean, we've got single point solutions now that are wearable, and you mentioned one. There's obviously things like Fitbit that are pretty pervasive now. So 2020, 7 years out.
Well, I think it's sometime in the window. It's a lot to do with the technologies and entrepreneurs and people like us continue to investing. And really being able to come together in multiple disciplines, right? It's the nanotechnology, materials technology, health technology, and the mobile technology coming together. We can create something wonderful. They can be able to change our lives, and that's the mission. That's what we want to work on.
Great, so we're getting the beep now, and I know the conversation will continue on wearable devices. But Young, I just want to thank you for the time this morning, and appreciate your feedback and comments.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.